Welcome to Andy Nicole's podcast. Please like, share and subscribe.
Welcome to Andy Nicole's podcast. Press like and subscribe.
Welcome to Andy Decodes. Sit back and enjoy as we dive deeper down into the rabbit hole and into the unknown.
Hello and welcome back. Me and Tommy have been sat here all night, not moved, not been anywhere, just sat here waiting. Nicole went and washed her hair and come back, so that other than that little bit of movement, that's it. So, thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you everyone in the chat and anyone listening on podcast. We do have some surprised guest or guests coming on. But first, Nicole and Tommy are going to talk. Well, they're going to introduce themselves, give you a little bit of background about who they are, what they've done, and where they're at now. So I'm going to leave it down to you two to go from there. I'm going to turn my mic off.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole. I am a member of Full Moon Paranormal. We are an paranormal investigative team based in Orange County, New York. We host public events about once a month to try to help raise money for local historic places in the area, to bring some awareness to the history and really get people excited about that and learning about our area and the history of it, because where we are, I mean, it's nothing compared to like the UK, but you know, in America, it's pretty old. We have investigated buildings from like the 1700s. So that's been fun. I have been interested in paranormal, researching ghosts and energy and magic and all kinds of things for literally as long as I can remember.
Cool. Thank you. Tommy, do you want to?
Yeah. So I'm Tommy Cullen. I've got a podcast called Let's Get Freaky, where we talk about all things paranormal, ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, even a bit of conspiracy sometime as well. I normally have different guests on that share their experiences. I'm fascinated with the paranormal. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been fascinated with it. I've had experiences myself. I've seen a ghost. I've seen shadow figures, UFOs. So I'm just fascinated by it and just want to keep learning more. I love hearing people's experiences. And yeah, that's why I'm here. So I just love it.
Cool, thank you. Right, so on that note, so I'm just going to shuffle us about a bit. I am going to bring in this surprise entity. There we go. Should we just start with that at the beginning? So, right, and here is this person. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I know. I know.
Who's that?
Oh,
come on.
Hang on.
You can't say I know who it is and sit there thinking, who is it?
Is it Al Santoriga?
Don't know, you tell me. Who else could it have been? He's the guy that brought us three together.
Best surprise guest.
Legend.
How did you figure that out from that mask, man?
I think
Come
I knew.
on.
I
Come
think I
on.
knew before. I just got a feeling. Oh
He's
man,
even
that's
signed a
Awesome.
different room and
Well,
everything.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having me today. It's my pleasure to be here. Hello, Nicole. Good to see you. Tommy, what's going on, my brother?
How are you, sir? Great to see you, man.
Thank you, Andy, for having me. Greatly appreciated. And
No problem,
yeah,
mate.
no, when he reached out to me, I said absolutely I would do it. I'd love to do it. And here I am.
Here it is.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so
I'm so
good.
happy that was our surprise.
That's a
So
great
glad.
surprise.
Love Al.
I started getting nervous.
Tommy had his ESP going, you know what I mean?
Oh, did you hear him? He goes, I think you know who it is. I'm like, no, don't guess. Don't guess.
Don't guess. Absolutely not.
Oh, that's great.
I figured I'd surprise Andy when they put the camera on. I'd still have the mask on. He didn't know anything about the mask,
No,
you know.
nothing.
So yeah,
That was a good one.
We just arranged no name, no camera, and that was it.
And that's it. Yeah. So I figured let me take it one step further and go with a mask. This way, when the camera comes on, you guys still wouldn't know who the hell it is.
Yeah. You know what? If that I'd have been one of you two, I'd have been. Don't know. I'd never have got it. I've no idea.
Know them eyes. I know them eyes. As soon as I
You
see
know,
it.
come on, get out of here.
It is.
Get out of here.
Oh, so how are you, El?
I'm doing, I'm battling a cold, but I'm doing great. And, life is good. And I'm all psyched and everything. So I'm psyched to be here. And, I got all kinds of stuff going on. And I got a phone call last night from a good friend of mine who I haven't talked to in years, who works for a large soft drink company. And he asked me if I wanted to go and sit at their suite at Madison Square Garden for the Last Kiss show. And I was like, dude, I'm in. I'm a big Kiss fan. And he's a big Kiss fan. And so I'm all psyched about going. And there's a lot of rumors going around in New York right now that Peter Criss and Ace Frehley, the old drummer and guitar player, have been seen hanging around the Garden. So everybody feels like they may come out and do a song or two. So I'm psyched. I'm psyched about that. Last time I seen Kiss, 1996 when they started their reunion tour, and then 2000 at the end of the reunion tour, I went to see him at Jones Beach, and I got arrested, but we won't talk about that. but I still made the concert. I still got to see the opening acts and everything else, and the concert was phenomenal. And it was just they're just like the big show. If you've never seen them, you get no matter what it costs, go and see them because they're just phenomenal. They've been phenomenal since 73, and they're still phenomenal. And they always had like a big show beyond shows. You know what I mean? And it's just awesome. I was lucky enough to see them in their prime. You know what I mean? I'm seeing them now at the end of the road tour, and very, very, very lucky to be associated with those guys. I've known Peter and I've known Ace for years, and so it's been very cool.
Awesome.
So I'm psyched.
So
I'm psyched about going tonight and sitting in that luxury suite. I remember going to the Garden to see Led Zeppelin and sitting in the steps in the aisles and stuff.
Yeah.
So and having beer poured on me and shit.
Anyone want to swap? I'm going to my work's Christmas party. It's going to be nowhere near as good as this.
But I'm psyched, and I'm happy to be here. When Andy reached out to me, I said absolutely, and I was wondering, I was thinking about you, Tommy, because I know David has decided to stop doing his podcast, David Cook, and I was wondering if you're still part of his team. Yeah.
No, I had David on recently as well. He's got another episode going out.
Okay.
I didn't realize it had stopped. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he made an announcement last weekend that that was going to be his last show, and he was going into something else. He was very mysterious about what he was going to do next, but he said he was going to do, I think, a live stream today or tomorrow to talk about it. So yeah.
Oh, because he was doing that for a long time, wasn't he?
Oh man, a long time. Yeah, I mean, I think it was like 10 years or something like that. I don't,
Yeah.
it was a long time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Dave's a great guy, absolutely great guy, phenomenal dude, and an amazing psychic as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you, Nick, at the Christmas party. Got my tickets. My wife and I are going up to the Shanley for the Christmas party, and I also bought tickets for your guys' event in March up at the Shanley. My wife and I are going to that one as well. Yeah,
that's going to be fun. We're bringing all the haunted dolls.
I've been dying to get to the Shanley for years. I met Kelly years ago when I did Hyde Park train station investigation, and I met her there, and she invited me up, and been trying to get there forever. And then when I seen you guys post the thing that you were going to do, and I talked my wife into coming with me, and then when Bill posted his thing about the Christmas party being there, I talked her into going again. So we're going to be there twice. Yeah, absolutely.
That's fun. The Christmas party will give you like a little sneak peek because we're only investigating for an hour.
Yes.
And then we'll get the whole night to hang out and check things out.
Yeah, it should be really. I've been dying to get up there forever, so I'm psyched. Yeah.
It's great. We love it.
Cool. I wish I lived in New York now. This is crap.
I'm moving to America. I've decided.
Yeah, we got you.
I am.
Well, you guys can come visit. We'll take you ghost hunting.
Yes.
And I can bring you squatching.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, did you guys do Julie's house for Halloween?
No, not for Halloween. We're doing that in February.
Oh, in February. I thought I seen something coming up with Julie. Yeah, the house they're doing in February is just off the charts. I've been there like 4 times and it's never failed. Yeah, it's an amazing place.
Wow.
Yeah, so much activity. It's been on a couple of paranormal TV shows.
Yeah, it's been on 2 or 3 shows. Absolutely, yeah.
Excellent. Right, so today's subject is Inner Earth. I know how you're going to be talking about what you'd mentioned when we was chatting the other day.
Yeah, because I don't remember if I ever discussed it on your show or Tommy's show, my UFO experiences. I mean, I know I've done Tommy's show a bunch of times, and I don't remember what we talked about. I don't know if we talked about UFO stuff,
I think we did. Yeah,
we did. Okay, I'm not sure, but I know I've never discussed it with Andy, and I've never discussed it with Nicole. So, I haven't been out since my last Bigfoot investigation, and I've discussed that with Andy too. So he's already, and that was off the charts because I did it. I went out twice. Once there was a 1% of the moon and a solar eclipse, and then the second time I went out, and that was on Friday the 13th. And then the second time I went out, there was a full moon with a lunar eclipse, and both times the shit was just off the charts. Absolutely insane. Yeah, insane. Yeah, we'll have to come on your show one time, Tommy, and talk about it because it's been crazy, absolutely insane stuff that's been going on. Yeah.
Excellent. Right, who wants to start then with Inner Earth, Middle Earth, the underworld, whatever you want to call it? What's anyone's take on it? Shall I start then?
Yeah, go for it.
You're
right.
Host, you
So my theory is that most of the entrances in and out are covered with government or military facilities to stop the general public for gaining access into it. If they build something over a cave entrance or a cavern or whatever you want to call it, and then they make that government property, then only select personnel are able to go in and out of there. I think that is what they either are doing or have done.
Go ahead, Tommy. Run with it.
It's interesting, man. I've spoken to people that have seen underground tunnel systems all over the US, and they think that there's underground like trains going underground.
Yeah.
You hear all these sorts of different crafts that go underground. I find it so interesting, man. I feel like there's stuff going on under there for sure. Whether it's secret military stuff that we're not ever going to know about, or whether it's, I don't know, other dimensions or something like that. I don't know what it is, but there definitely seems to be something going on.
I think it is a mix. It's a mix of everything, because up in Scotland, you've got I can't remember the name of the lake. Begins with L. Oh, can't think. Anyway, there's a mountain at the side of it, and they've built a power station inside the mountain. And you would know where you would know it was there. It's only because it's public knowledge that anyone knows about it.
Yeah.
Lake Lomond, that's it.
Yeah, and like the trains that they say, they have these crazy underground trains that go under the ocean that can get you from like New York to England in like an hour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know about the whole entire civilization world under the world kind of thing, but I think like with any other conspiracy, there's some truth mixed in with like the crazies, because if you say something that's true and then you say something that's really outlandish, nobody's going to believe you about the true part.
Yeah.
Nope.
So there's definitely something down there.
Yeah, I'm not a conspiracy theorist anymore. I've been there, done that many years ago. But there are underground trains. The government built these underground bunkers, whether you want to call them bunkers or end of time survival locations. But and I do believe there are rails and stuff that go all over the world, not just in the United States, but under the world. I mean, they keep finding these tunnels all over the world. They found them in China. They found them in Turkey. They find these tunnels that go down miles and miles and miles of tunnel networks, perfectly carved tunnel networks. They don't know how they did it without, I mean, it looks like they were just melted with like the nuclear stuff that they use now to build these tunnel rails, because they're smooth and they go for miles, and they find them all over the world. And my take on everything is that this planet has been come and gone 2 or 3 times, and I think there was a time where there was actually a more advanced civilization on this planet that we are right now. You know what I mean? And I think that somehow that was destroyed. And I think those people or entities, whoever they were the ones who created these underground tunnel systems that go all over the world. And I believe they do exist. As far as the government stuff, like being conspiracy theories, I think, like people say, oh, they cover this stuff because the aliens go in and out of the North Pole and this, that, and the other thing. I think the aliens, again, I'm not a conspiracy theory, but I'm spitting out conspiracy right now. Yeah. I believe the aliens may have created some of these openings around the world where they go in and out of. But I think as they advanced their technology, they've chose to go under the ocean, and most of their bases are probably underneath the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean, rather than in mountains. I mean, where they may have been at some point in time, but just as we advance the civilization, we tend to find crap. You know what I mean? But for some reason, the governments of the world refuse to research the ocean. They'll go to the moon, they'll go to Mars, they'll go all over the universe, but they don't really go under the ocean. And I think the alien civilizations that were here, that advanced as their time went on, they chose to go under the ocean. And then you'll hear these stories every now and then, occasionally from the Navy saying, something passed us, like a submarine that was going 100 miles an hour underwater. We don't have anything that can move that fast underwater. You know what I mean? And I think their bases, if the aliens, I believe the aliens are here, and I believe that the aliens have always been here. And if they do have bases, and I believe there's different civilizations, and some civilizations are more advanced than others, and I think the really advanced ones are under the ocean. Just one man's opinion. Don't kill me on it.
It's interesting, man, because there's a conspiracy that NASA really looked into the ocean, and that they got so far and they was like, no, let's leave it now. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's a conspiracy
I heard
that
something
they
similar.
found something they didn't like.
Yeah, I heard something similar, that they have explored the oceans and they're just not telling us
Yeah,
what they found. So it's like anything, isn't it? They know what's going on, they're just not willing to share it. That's my
'cause
belief.
they say we only know 20% of our ocean or something like that, which seems very low.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they're constantly mapping the ocean floor and finding deeper and deeper crevices that go down. And, and I don't know if the governments of the world have anything that can go down that deep and withstand that kind of pressure. You know what I mean? Maybe they're getting closer with all this drone technology and with the submarines and stuff like that. But I don't know if they have anything that can go down that deep and not be crushed by the weight of the water and the pressure and everything else. So I don't know.
Yeah. What gets me is the whole like controversy surrounding, that sub that went down looking for the Titanic.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we don't know what happened, sent everybody on like a wild goose chase. And then they knew exactly what happened because the Navy heard the little bloop when it exploded. So why would you go through all this and have everybody searching and put it all over the media if you knew what happened already? If not as kind of like a cautionary thing, you wanted to blow it up and make sure everybody knew, don't try to go down there.
Well, maybe that submarine ran into something it wasn't supposed to run into, and they destroyed that submarine. You know what I mean? And maybe that's why they're keeping it. They kept it. Look, we're on a need to know basis, and as far as the government's concerned, we don't need to know anything. Yeah. So we're just peons. So that's what something like that could have happened. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying, but if it ran into USO underground under the water and it was destroyed by something, who knows? I mean, they say that there have been subs that have been attacked by USOs in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
It's like I always say, if you're not there, you're not going to know what's really happened.
Yeah, if you're not in the know, you're never going to know, because they're going to twist it and they're going to put it out there 10 different ways that people just are not going to know what to believe. And that's what they do. That's their job, to do that, to make sure everybody argues about everything and no one actually knows the damn truth.
100%. 100%.
Right.
Man.
So got a question. It's from Wild Bill. This was the first question I was going to ask, but I'll give him the credit for it. He's asked, do you think cryptids live in Middle Earth?
Some may. I'm not sure about all cryptids, but some may.
Yeah.
What we call cryptids could just be an inner Earth civilization, So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some say that Sasquatch live in caves, don't they? Go in the tunnels, and that's a possibility.
Of course it is, yeah.
But there's also rumor that when reptilians, it was their planet, and then we came along, wherever we came from, and we kind of like pushed them back, and then they retracted to the underworld, but also the Ice Age kind of pushed them there as well. So it could be a little bit of everything, couldn't it?
I think this planet, and I think mankind as we know it, is much older than what science is telling us. Just one man's opinion. That's it.
Yeah,
one
I
man's
agree,
opinion.
man.
Yeah.
Like what you said earlier, we probably got so far, destroyed ourselves. Maybe we've done that a few times.
Somebody else came in and destroyed us. You know what I mean? I mean, if you read the Indian, I forgot what it's called, that Indian, their history, that book, I forgot the name of it. Jesus, I'm drawing a blank, but it talks about warring alien factions, destroying the earth amongst themselves. Yeah. I can't think of the name of it right now. It's going to drive me nuts. But so, I mean, it's written in history. It's there, and you have to read history. And then, once you've read all the history from all over the world, and they all kind of say the same thing. And these people didn't know each other. They're just writing stuff down. And what they see, they're drawing what they see.
Yep.
They're not making shit up as they go. There's no, authors that are writing mystery novels and the crap. And then you read what they've written, and you have to decipher what they're saying, because it just, to think about something like that is mind-boggling, especially, 5,000 years ago, 7,000 years ago,
Yeah.
The ancient civilization thing is something I could go on forever about, because it's not even like from a woo-woo standpoint, it's scientific, where you had the Younger Dryas climate change where the sea levels rose, and there's like evidence that civilization is so much older than we thought. They discovered things like Göbekli Tepe, which they said couldn't exist. So we're finding new things every day. And that's not even like a paranormal conspiracy, that's scientific.
Yeah, it's archaeologist's fact. Yeah, I mean, even Göbekli Tepe, they say it's 12,000 years old. I believe it's much older than that,
Yeah.
They don't want to put a big number on you, mankind. Oh, we're 10,000 years old. Oh, we found Göbekli Tepe. It's only, now we're 12,000. Well, maybe we were 25,000. Who knows, but they're afraid to put a big number on it. Yeah. And
because that would mean rethinking everything that they are taught and are teaching everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And as far as the ice ages go and stuff like that, they say Antarctica was a tropical paradise at one time. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, because if you think about it, if there are warring alien factions and you're using nuclear weapons to destroy the Earth, that can change the axis of the Earth. And if you change that axis by 1%, you'll get ice ages in tropical forests, and stuff like that. And if these alien factions are from different universes, they're going to leave. They don't give a crap what happens here. You know what I mean? And they're going to leave once that climate change begins, and it happens. And even the Earth axis changes, I think, every 5,000 years or some 3,000 years, where it moves a little percentage, you know what I mean? And stuff changes. I mean, it just doesn't take much of an axis shift to change the environment, so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. So what about, so I took that question about the cryptids from Middle Earth as like the rake. Not
I knew we were going there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you got like goblins, fairies, fae folk. I mentioned it the other day. The cat people. It's like they look like upright felines, but they obviously walk on the back legs, and they're more human farm than cat farm. But they've got, I suppose, cat features. I don't really know that much about it, to be honest. And so then, I suppose, a bit like Lord of the Rings.
Well, I took a report about a couple of years back. I took a report from a woman who is a very highly educated woman who has a lot of UFO activity going on around her. And she lives at a location that's high strangeness. Let's just put it that way. And she said she was driving down the road one day and at night, and she thought she'd seen a Sasquatch walk in front of her car. It was 7-8 feet tall, big, bulky looking thing. It looked like a Sasquatch to her, And when she hit it with the high beams, it turned and looked at her, and it had a cat head. It looked like a cat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was like, she called me up. She says, "Is there any such thing as a cat squatch?" And I was like, "Why would you see?" And she told me what she's seen. And I was like, yes, there are people, people report these cat-like Sasquatches. They're big and they're bulky. And they look like a Sasquatch, but they have like a a cougar's head or a Black Panther's kind of head. You know what I mean? So it's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, and I believe this woman because she's a very, very credible woman. Very credible.
Yeah.
There we
Interesting, man.
Lyrians, cat alien race.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you say so, Ricardo.
Yeah, but somebody else put it up in the chat. I think it was Fire Spirit. Oh, I can't see where it's gone now. Yeah, there we go. Cat people are Lyrans, apparently.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've only taken one my whole life. So, I mean, I didn't really dive into it too deeply because, it was hair and gone. But
yeah,
she thought it was a Bigfoot. So that's why she was reporting it to me. But, obviously it was something else,
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. Wild Bill said one last night that I'd never heard before. Ant people. Ant.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
yeah.
I've
The
heard
ant
about
people.
them.
Yeah, but the ant people. The ant people go back to the insectoids. You know what I mean? Insectoids look like ant people. And they can look like a carpenter ant, but standing up, or they could look like a praying mantis. It's an insectoid-looking alien creature. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I've heard that they helped humans. They've helped us advance with just like day-to-day living, like how to cook, how to hunt, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I don't know how true it all is, but that's
It's
what
interesting, man.
I've heard on podcasts, read in books, the internet, everywhere, and they all
When you
seem
look
to
at
come with the same theories.
Yeah. When you look at ants and you see how organised they are, like our ants that we've got.
Yeah.
Army ants, they're working, absolutely. They're like army ants, and they're very organized, and there's very everybody's got there's one purpose, to survive, and and I mean the Navajo and what's the other tribe out west talk about the ant people saving them during the Great Flood of creating these tunnels under the ground in the earth. So they can go in and survive as an Indian race. Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as I was saying last night, Anunnaki, if you translate it, means ant friends. So Anu means ant and Naki is friend. So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd have to read what's his name's books again. Oh man, I can't think of the guy who translated all of that stuff. He's passed away now. The old man. Oh geez. I'm drawing a blank today. Yeah, I didn't know what we were going to be talking about, so I didn't brush up on everything.
It's all right. Just a bit of everything.
Yeah, no,
but I've just started reading Barry Fitzgerald, but don't know what it's called. It's on Audible. I'll have to have a look in a minute. And that's where I've learnt that from.
Okay. Where did he learn it from? Did he say?
Didn't say anything. Didn't mention anything.
Okay.
So it's called The Deception of Gods and Men.
Okay.
That's the name of the book.
Well, if you talk to any Native American tribe, at least here in the United States, they will tell you that they're sky brothers. There are that come down and help them, and then there are star people that come down and are not friendly. So it seems like there's always been alien races either trying to seed us and help us grow, and alien races trying to manipulate us to do what they want us to do. You know what I mean? So it took me a long time to get on board with this theory. It really did. But, they talk about the Starfleet and all of this stuff and this group of alien races that run the universe and yada, yada, yada. And I wasn't buying it for the longest time, but I feel like I'm starting to come around on that now. And I kind of believe there's always a yin and yang to everything, right?
Yeah.
So if there's alien races that want to take us over and destroy us or enslave us. There's got to be alien races that are trying to prevent that from happening and to seed us and to make us grow, you know? So I truly believe in that stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's evidence of, I don't want to say evidence, but there's notations of aliens and other beings having interactions with us for as far back as like the written record goes. If you look at the hieroglyphics, they show that if they put UFOs in like classical paintings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
yeah.
goes back. It goes back to the beginning of time. Absolutely, Nick. Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure if you went to what did the Anunnaki were from, like Iran or something like that, or Iraq or something like that. If you go back and you look at all those ancient things that were built back then, those temples and stuff, I'm sure you will see things that look like UFOs in the hieroglyphics. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 It's interesting to see how they try to like explain it away or be like, no, that's not what that is. It's something else. It's some religious thing. Like, how is that a religious thing? What other religious thing has blinky lights, is saucer shaped, and has like a beam coming down from it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Eslam, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Weird take
But
on an angel.
Yeah, I found out probably about a year ago now that the hieroglyphs, more so the ones in Egypt, can be directly translated in Welsh.
Really?
Welsh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I've not looked into anything more than that, but that seems to be a solid.
Interesting.
That's crazy. I never heard that before. Wow, that's insane. Absolutely, yeah.
So I think he's in the chat. Forrest Ryan. So Ryan, my mate Ryan, he's in the chat, and I think it was him that I was talking to about it. Then he heard it on a podcast, and I thought, right, I need to learn a little bit more about this. And so I just searched in podcasts about hieroglyphs and that, and a few different ones. It wasn't from the same source either. It was from different people or different practices.
Interesting.
And they all kept coming up saying it can be translated directly into Welsh.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know what? We did an ancient stone chamber investigation one time, and when we hit it with the IR lights or the UV lights, something lit up across the back of the chamber. It was all hieroglyphics, that no one knew was there until you actually hit it with a UV light or an IR light. If you just go there and look at the chamber, it just looks like stone, But when we deciphered it, and it took a lot of deciphering, it was written. There were elements in whatever this thing said. There was elements of Native American, Egyptian, Viking rune, Chinese, and ancient Arabic in that thing, all in on one wall. And we couldn't figure out, because when you add it all together and you decipher each individual word, it didn't make any sense. But to have all of these different regions of the world in one area made no sense either, because the Native Americans here claimed they didn't build them because they didn't build in stone. They worked in tents and long cabins or whatever, long houses. So they didn't build this. They didn't work with stone. So whoever did this was fluent in every language, ancient language there was in the world at the time. And it was mind-boggling when we figured it out, because you're going down each individual ancient language to try and figure out the hieroglyphics, but you only find one symbol here, one symbol there. It was mind-boggling. Yeah, it really was.
Well, I think there was a lot of communication in like the ancient world between civilizations, because if you look at the pyramids in like Peru and the pyramids in Egypt and in China, they all have like similar features.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They were definitely in communication.
But it wasn't the people that were communicating. It was the element that was creating all of these things that were traveling all over the world and building the same things all over the world. You know, it wasn't the Aztecs going to Egypt or the Egyptians coming to South America. You know, there was somebody else who was much more advanced than the people on the planet at that time that was putting these things, these pyramids all over the world and made them all exactly alike. You know, it's just mind-boggling. You know, and so who had that capability 7,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago to fly all over the world and build these things? Boom. Yeah, you tell me. I don't know.
So
that's it. It's just one of those we're never going to find out, are we?
Mhm.
I think we've lost a lot of our history has been destroyed, and what hasn't been destroyed has been hidden away. And I think the stuff that's been hidden away is probably only 1% that was left. You know what I mean? Like I believe that the ancient libraries of Egypt, of Alexandria, when Alexandria was when the Romans took Egypt, they took all that information to Rome. You know what I mean? And then burnt the rest with whatever they thought wasn't necessarily. And then when Nero burnt Rome, I think the church took whatever they could to salvage and hid away in the archives, and everything else just burned. So there was so much history lost, so much advanced knowledge. I mean, like I was talking to a guy, this is crazy. He's used to be a priest in Rome.
Yeah.
And he's been down in the ancient archives. And he said, this is a quote, he said, if you were ever to go down there and read the ancient scripts, the books that they have, you would lose all faith in religion, he said. He says, that's all I'm going to say. And then he left the priest. After he read it, he left.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done. Because religion, he said, it doesn't exist if you go down there and you read these ancient scripts, you know. It's mind-boggling. I can't go into it too much, Ali said, but I was going to be a priest, and I studied in Rome, and I went down, and I read, and said that was it. He was done with religion. God only knows what his eyes seen, you know, and I'm sure whatever he read was just the tip of the iceberg, you know. Yeah.
Probably
Well,
they keep all the good stuff real locked up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's the ironic thing about it, though. It's all we know. It's in the Vatican City, in the tunnels and caves and everywhere. So it's religion protecting what isn't really real.
It's protecting itself like any other, entity.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
That's why, the Pope is saying, yeah, maybe aliens exist, but if they did, God would have created them. Or them, switching their stance on gay marriage and things. They have to evolve to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's crazy stuff.
Power.
I mean, when this guy told me that, I almost fell off my chair because I was like, he's married with a family and everything now, and he was going to be a priest in Rome. And he was like, dude, I said, oh my God. I was like, I got to pick your brain one day, we got to talk for hours, but
yeah. So did he say how he managed to get to read any of this?
He was just studying to become a priest, and he happened to be in Rome, and he was in the archives, and he was able to go down. I mean, there's certain rooms that they were allowed to go in and read, ancient texts. And then I guess, depending on your status in the church, you can go deeper into the vault, you know what I mean? But just the stuff he read where he was able to get into was enough for him to say, I'm out,
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
If I could go anywhere to study or investigate anything, and that I think that'd be it.
Without
it'd
a
have
doubt,
to be.
Yeah. The
All
only
the hidden
problem
knowledge.
is we would have to learn how to read, Egyptian and and Greek and Latin and everything else that it's been written in, So
I can barely do English, let alone any of that.
me too.
Yeah, there'd be no good me and you going.
No chance.
All right, everybody pick one ancient language to learn, and then we'll share notes.
Yeah.
we'll just send Nicole, let her go. Oh
Yeah,
man.
but I think that'd be a good shout if you could ever get in there.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I mean, the only way you'll ever get in there is if that place has been blown up and the doors are open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not getting in there.
No.
And even then, still, you wouldn't get into it because the governments would take whatever
Yeah.
information they have and hide them away there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody would take whatever they could. That's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They would never
Yeah.
make it to the public.
Yep.
But
No.
the thing is, as well, they have like Secret Service and that walking around outside, all
Oh,
plain
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
security and everything.
Yeah. It's actually a
So-
country, isn't it? It's actually
Yeah,
its
it's
own country.
actually it's actually
Smallest
its own
country in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has its own money,
Yep.
Yeah.
a lot.
Its own
And its
rules.
own
mean-
laws.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Isn't
have to
it
follow
like
the
a
laws of any
mile-
other country.
Yeah, it's a mile square or something, or just less than a mile.
Yeah. Have you seen Vatican Girl on Netflix?
No,
You seen
No.
that?
No?
I
No.
recommend that. It's not paranormal. It's like conspiracy, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
interesting. A girl goes missing that lives in the Vatican, and
Yeah.
it's dodgy stuff, man. I recommend that as well.
there we go.
Yeah.
Another rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's not,
Down the rabbit hole.
let's not go down any dark roads.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's too early.
that's going to
Too
take
early.
us down a dark road. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The feed
that-
will end. The feed will end very quickly at that point.
yeah, that's it. I'll cut us out.
Yeah.
Nope.
There you So the Vatican has a Swiss guard. is
Yeah,
there?
it's the Swiss
Security.
Guard. Yeah, it's that security. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they've got others that we're not supposed to know about as well.
Yeah, they have a secret service too. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Swiss Guard is technically their security, but they have their own secret service that works within their government. Let's call it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And their laws. So, but the Swiss Guard is like supposed to be their army or their police or whatever. But you know, it gets much deeper than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to stay underground. Yeah. I'm going to move think east, north. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe west. It's a direction. CERN.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Ooh,
yeah.
Mandela effects. Can we talk about
My-
Mandela effects at some point?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
My mum lives 40 minutes away from CERN.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
She probably lives above it because it's 17.5 miles diameter, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she knows someone that works in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have to get
Does
them
she
on,
know
mate.
what they're doing?
No.
I don't think they know what they're
Right.
doing.
It's like its own little town. It's got shops in it and all sorts.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's like-
it's its own little world under there. Yeah, its own little city. Absolutely, you better believe it. Yeah, talk about high security. Forget about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Probably
no,
so radioactive you can't come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you go in,
who
that's
the
it.
hell knows?
But my mum
what do you
drives
think-
past it and stuff, and
Yeah.
Videos
What do you
getting
think is
shown.
going on there? I know opening portals and all that. That's what we're led to believe, but
Like
is it that?
Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things. Absolutely.
Yeah. The
Nice,
upside
It's
down.
based on like the work of like CERN. And
Yes,
that kind of thing.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, it may have started with creating black holes and dark matter and energy and stuff like that, but who knows where it has gone over the years? You know what they've were able to do and find, and then dive deeper into that knowledge. Like if you open up a black hole and then you're able to pass through it, what's on the other side, what's inside, and maybe they've done stuff that's just mind-boggling. Who knows what's actually going on. A lot of people say it's become a devil worshiping cult and all of this stuff. They do a lot of satanic stuff there, and they're trying to release the devil or whatever. I don't know, but I think it started out with good intentions, like everything else. But who knows where it went?
But
Yeah,
if
I
you
just think
know what a black hole is, why do you want to open one on Earth?
Sorry, Nicole, I didn't hear you.
But if you don't know what a black hole is, why are they trying to open one on Earth? Like, you don't know what that's going to cause. And that's supposedly, you know, what CERN was trying to do and everything.
Yeah, I don't know if they were actually trying to open one on Earth or trying to open one up in the universe, you know, up in the space where, you know, they could, go through. I don't know I think if you open up a black hole on Earth, it'll suck the whole Earth in it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they were trying to create one here on Earth with our gravity and everything else. I think they were trying to figure out how to open one up and then do it up there in the universe, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how we destroyed ourselves before. You know, we started messing with this stuff. We could, who knows?
Who knows?
Ourselves up.
Well, isn't there another facility similar to that, either
There's a
under
lot of
Mexico
facilities.
or Brazil?
There's
like
a
in
lot
South
of
America.
facilities.
Is there one in Tennessee?
There's one in Chicago. There used to be one here in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still operable, but they're on a smaller scale. They're not as big as CERN, but there are these facilities all over the world, but just on the smaller scales. So who knows if they run all of them at the same time, what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They may connected. Yeah.
They're all interlinked.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, you know, only the people who work on this stuff knows, you know, and I'm sure it's so compartmentalized that the guy in room B doesn't know what the guy in room A is doing.
I'm sure.
So,
Yeah.
Do you think that what they're doing could potentially or has already knocked us into different dimensions?
Oh, I think it's opened up so many different dimensions. I mean, I think it's a key to opening up different dimensions. Again, one man's opinion, don't kill me. Yeah.
That's it. Oak Ridge in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oak Ridge. Okay.
That was it. But they were known for the atomic bomb.
Interesting.
Speaking of the atomic bomb, have you guys seen the footage of where they're testing like nuclear weapons and everything is like decimated? They're knocking down buildings, trees, everything. But the camera that they used to record it is fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Unless, Nicole, they're filming it from satellites in space.
No, this was like old timey when they
like ground level,
started testing it. Ground level.
They could have been miles away with a super zoom lens that just zoomed right in. You know, I mean, you know what I mean? Where everything, like at some point, they were all watching the explosions, right?
Yeah.
So they were at a safe distance, and if you've seen Oppenheimer, you'll see how they figured out the distance that was safe to do the experiments. So if you're at that distance and you have a camera set up behind the wall, just the lens, and you have this super zoom lens or telephoto lens or whatever you want to call it, and you zoom into where that thing is going to land, you could film it that way.
I'm gonna have to see if they had that kind of technology back then, like to zoom in that
so
far.
Back in the when was the atomic bomb?
40s.
When were they testing it?
Yeah, well,
I got
dropped
the
it
60s in my head for some reason, but I know it's not that late.
No, they dropped it on Hiroshima during World War II, so it was in the 40s. Yeah, 45, 46. Yeah.
Some say nuclear weapons are not real. That's just another conspiracy. I don't know about that, but
78 years ago.
It's like a threat, obviously, but.
Like
Nicole is on point. 70s, 78 years ago, exactly.
78 years ago.
To the
Did
day.
you see how many tabs I have open for things that I have to
Oh my
research
God,
later?
I can imagine. You are amazing. She's amazing at research. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, but no, I mean, and this is one of my pet peeves. Why do the governments around the world, right, have to create all of these different kind of weapons, whether they're sound weapons, vibration weapons, energy weapons, right? Why do they need all these weapons? You can kill us with a stick. We're easy to kill. So why do you have all these different weapons? And my theory, again, don't kill me on this, it's each individual weapon is for a defense against each individual alien race. One kills this, one kills that. You know what I mean? And because otherwise, why create all these different kind of weapons when you can kill us with a rock? You don't need you don't need laser weapons to kill us. You don't need sound weapons or vibrational weapons to kill us. You know what I mean? You can, or frequency weapons. You don't need that for us. We're easy to kill. You know. So what's the theory behind it? Why was it created? This is shit that goes in my head. You know what I mean?
You need to go down Wild Bill's rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
Once you go in there, that's it.
There's no turning back.
Nah. I try to stay away from conspiracy theory shows because I haven't been a conspiracy theorist in 25 years. When I was younger, I jumped in with both feet, you know, and now I just try to talk about stuff I experienced. But I leave all that conspiracy stuff to Brian. That's Brian's. Brian goes down because he loves the conspiracy theory shit. But I mean, you know, today the show took a life of its own. So, you know, I'll talk about what I think I know about, and that's about it, you know. So
no, it's all cool. Right, so Nicole mentioned Mandela effect. Right, can I kick this off because I remember this like it happened yesterday. So I was at school, I think it was like 1986, 1987. Nelson Mandela died in prison. I remember watching it on the news. My best mate at school, lad named Paul, it was in that actually. So I used to walk up to his house in the morning, meet him, and then we'd go up to the school from there. And he was saying, "Oh, Nelson Mandela's died," blah blah blah, and it was all over the news. Sorry, 1 second. It was all over the news, and then was it like something like 2015? I was sat down just watching TV, and the news came on, and Nelson Mandela's died. What? I actually turned around to the people that I was in the house with at the time and said, he died when I was at school, like nearly 20 odd years ago. How? He can't die twice. And I, obviously, the Mandela effect, that's where it stems from.
Right, absolutely.
So no one actually knew what it was. It's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I
remember both days.
I got one better. I got one better than that because I'm older than you. Again, I remember hearing about Mandela dying in prison. Okay, he died in prison. Yada yada. I remember seeing the footage of the people going crazy and the funeral and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I don't remember when, I remember seeing them releasing him from prison, and I was like, wait a minute, this dude died in prison. I remember his death. I think it was 81 or something, 80, 79, 80. He died in prison. And then, you know, 10 years later, they're letting him out and they're celebrating. And I'm like, but the dude died 10 years ago. How did this happen? You know, I mean, I like a, you know, and I just wrote it off for too much weed as a kid, you know what I mean? but I was like, no, something is afoot here for sure. Yeah.
But I remember it being, like I said, between 85 and 87, because I started high school in 84, I think it was. So our school started in September each year, like the start of the year. I'm sure it was either 84 or 85. 84 it was, because I left in 89. We do 5 years. So yeah, so it'd be like 85, 86 that he died.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I remember.
The house was like a grey building, just a grey brick painted over building. And they're all outside and they're all losing it and going mad and dancing and jumping about and all that. And
I remember him dying in prison.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
I remember learning in school that he died in prison.
There you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they let him out a few years later.
Yeah.
You know, how is that possible?
And then he dies again.
And then he dies again. Yes, the second time. Yeah. But when he died the second time, he was a free man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
First time he died, he was in prison.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird, man.
Because that was the whole thing, that he died for his cause in prison.
He was a martyr.
Yeah.
He was a martyr.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I just had something happen to me recently that I had the Mandela effect, and I was like, I did a double take, and I was like, oh wow, I should write this down. Of course, I didn't, so I don't remember what it was. But it just happened like last week, you know. And I was like, wait a minute, that can't be right, you know. And I should have written it down and researched it, but my wife got sick, and then I got sick, and that was the end of everything. So
yeah. So do you think that deja vu is connected to the Mandela effect? It's remembering something that's happened on a different time that you existed, different time slip, different dimension, whatever you want to call it.
my personal opinion, I think deja vu has to do with our past lives,
right?
Not actually anything to do with a Mandela effect, and it's just one man's opinion. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I just seem for some reason going down the path of you remember experiencing it, being there, wearing whatever clothes and all your surroundings, the scenery's the same and everything. So that's why I thought, could it be like a crossover of dimensions? You've already existed in this place, but in a different dimension at the same time, or at a different time even. But like it's just my opinion. I don't know.
It could be a time-space continuum where you were there in this lifetime, but just at a different point in time of your life, and then you see it again. You know what I mean? So it could be it could be 2 or 3 different things. It could be a space-time thing where you experienced it already in your lifetime, in this lifetime, or it could be something that you've experienced. And you said you got a dream woman coming on, right? To talk about dreams. I used to have the same recurring dream over and over and over my whole life. And I met this woman who's a dream analyst. And I sat down with her and I talked to her, you know, and I was like, and I'll tell you how it went. I was a medieval knight riding out of a black forest, okay, on my horse. I looked like what the cat dragged in. The armor was rusted. I was like half dead. The horse was half dead. We come to a lake. The horse is drinking water. I'm drinking water. I look up, and in front of me is a rubble of a castle. So I leave the horse behind, and I climb over the rubble, and I get into the courtyard of the castle. And I see the stairwell has been knocked down. And as I'm walking over to go up to the stairwell to the towers to see if there's anybody alive, I see an arm sticking out from underneath the stone. I move the stone. I finally get to a knight buried underneath the stones, but his mask is down on his helmet. And as I go to open the mask, I always woke up. So I never seen who the knight was. Well, at one point, recently, and not recently, but before I seen this woman, again, and I've had this same dream since I was 12 years old, okay? Recently, I had that same dream, and I always felt like I knew who that knight was, that knight was me. Like my intuition was telling me I was looking at myself, but I couldn't validate it because I never seen the person's face. Well, recently, I've done that. I open up the mask and I see it's me. And once I see it's me, I'm in my armor again. Now my armor is brand new, and I feel like I've been reborn. And out of the dark forest, the whole army of knights come riding. I get in line with the rest of the knights, and we ride off between a mountain pass where the sunset is coming down, and that's how the dream ends. So I asked her, I said, what the hell was that all about? And she says, you couldn't move on until you seen your face. She goes, that wasn't a dream. That was a past life experience. And I got goosebumps just telling you that. I got goosebumps just telling you that. And she blew my mind. I go, how sure are you that that's a past life experience? And she said, Al, 100%, I'm telling you. You couldn't. That's why it always went to that point and then it ended, because I never got to see who I was. Wow. She goes, once you seen it was you, everything changed. All of a sudden, the castle was built again, and the whole army of knights come out. Everybody's in shining armor, and I just fall in line with the rest of us. And we ride in between this mountain pass with the sun coming down behind us, an orange sun coming down in front of us, with the lake behind us. It was crazy, just absolutely crazy. Yeah, so it should be interesting when you have that woman on. If you get people, or you guys have things like that, I mean, it's going to be an amazing show.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, man.
It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I never knew what the hell it meant, and it would always frustrate me that I would get that far. And even though my gut told me it was me, I could never validate it, you know, that I was actually a ghost riding to find my body, you know. Crazy
Wow.
shit.
Yeah.
I've never had anything, not that in depth anyway. I've had recurring dreams, and I've had dreams in dreams.
But, wow. Yeah.
So I remember probably about 20 years ago, I'd dream about this same house, and I'd go upstairs into what was like one of the smaller bedrooms. It's like, it wasn't an house, it was a mansion. It's like 30 rooms in it. And I'd go into this room, and it's just like a big changing room, but I'd like, where you got like in football or soccer, you've got the back-to-back benches and you can hang your bag and your jacket up and all that. It's got them going all the way through it, but all gold plated and that.
Wow.
And I every time I went into I had this dream, I'd always go into this room and something would happen. But then lately I've started dreaming about other stuff. And in that dream, I then go back into this other dream.
Wow.
That's crazy. A dream within a dream.
Yeah.
I've never heard
You're going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's only happened a few times, but each one of them I remember.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think it was a dream, or did you think it really happened? Was it reality?
After talking to people like yourself and doing this show and everything else, I believe it's real.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because a dream within a dream. You know what? And you should definitely ask that woman when she comes on about a dream within a dream, and if that's actually a dream or if it's actually reality. You know?
Yeah. But there's a couple of other dreams as well, very similar to that, where I'm going somewhere. I'm meeting up with people, and then we go somewhere, and then we end up going to another place that I dreamt about years ago. It's just weird stuff like that.
That's crazy. Dreams that interact with each other. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I thought it was a common thing, and I spoke about it a couple of months ago, and like you said,
everybody called you crazy.
You are mental. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, it really is just me. But like you said, they're the only ones that if I could do comic strip or something like that, I could draw you the dream and to the point of how it is.
That's crazy. Yeah. How about you, Nick? What's going on with you? Talk to us.
In my dreams?
Yeah.
Oh boy. There's some interesting ones. I feel like I wake up sometimes, I feel like I need to like psychoanalyze myself. I'm like, what does this mean? I had one not that long ago, and I was doing something, but I was wearing blue lipstick, and the only thing that stood out in the dream is that I was wearing blue lipstick. And like I put it out to the girls, and Susan, Susan's good at research too on my team. She came back saying like, oh, it means like spiritual awakenings. It means like this and that. I was like, maybe that's why it stood out, because it was the message I was supposed to get from that.
What did what's her name say? Lily. Did you tell her?
Yeah, it was in the group chat we have with the full moon girls.
And what did she say?
I don't think she said anything about it at the time.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have liked to know what she thought of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much she does. The dream thing. She sticks more, I think, to like the psychic medium.
Yeah, but you would think something like that would spark a psychic energy. Like she would tap into that energy psychically. You know what I mean? So no, I mean, just 1 minute. I don't know. I'm just babbling.
Yeah, that would be cool. I should ask her. But like, hey, what are your opinions on this? What did you think?
Yeah, I always go to my psychics and ask them about everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean? What does that mean? And see what they say, because sometimes it's just mind-boggling the shit that they feel, the energy the way they read the energy of the dream, or or the meaning of the blue lipstick. Just yeah.
Tommy, what about you? Crazy dreams?
I have the same dream. I wear blue lipstick in the dream. I've got this dream.
And you're wearing a kilt, right? Yes.
I've got a dress on. We won't go there.
That's not a dream. That's his fantasy.
Yeah, that's just a Friday night.
Absolutely.
No, I have a reoccurring dream I've had for years, and I have it once a month or whatever it is. I have it quite a lot. It's always the same. I'm like in a haunted hotel, and like The Shining, where they're walking through and all the corridors are the same, and it's like that. I'm walking through this hotel and I'm lost. I'm trying to find my room, and there's always like a dark feeling in the dream, like something's chasing me, and I've got to get to my room. I've got to get away from whatever it is, and I always wake up before the end of it. I'm always like in a panic, and it's a horrible dream. I have it all the time. I don't know what it means. I'd like to know. Maybe we can ask the lady on Wednesday, but it's it's a weird dream, man. I have it so often.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny, that I don't know if normal people who don't do anything in the paranormal experience the shit that we experience. You know what I mean? Like, is this just something that's affects us who are into energies and paranormal and all of this stuff, or do just normal people who have, like, the paranormal is the last thing on their mind, have these experiences as well? I don't know. I think it's, honestly, again, one man's opinion, I think it's just something that happens to the people who are in this field, or people who are touched by certain, whether it's ghosts, aliens, cryptids, whatever, energies. I don't think this happens to the regular Joe Blow, businessman who goes to work 9 to 5 every day.
I think it does, but I think they miss it, because it's like when you buy a new car and then you see that car everywhere. Once you're aware of it,
yes, absolutely,
you're looking for it.
Yeah.
So they may have it and like just dismiss it as like, oh, that was a weird dream. Like,
Well, I just remembered. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because I know I'll forget. So when I was waking up this morning, I knew I was in a dream, but there's something happening in the dream. It was to do with paperwork or something, and I needed to get up to use the bathroom, but I knew also that I couldn't finish this dream until I'd done what I needed to do in the dream before I could get up and go to the bathroom. I had to finish this bit first before I was allowed to wake up and go. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can understand what you're saying, Nick, because we have signs all around us every day, and everybody, 90% of the population miss it. You know what I mean? So it could be something to that effect where they just blow it off as a weird dream. You know what I mean? When it could be something very meaningful. So could be, absolutely, yeah.
I feel like the more you open yourself up to this stuff as well, the more you experience. I don't know, just if you're open to it, I feel like that's when more stuff happens.
Definitely.
I agree with that, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
It's like when we go into buildings, and you may have somebody who's a non-believer and they've never experienced anything, and then somebody who works in that same building who's like, no, this is haunted as hell, like this happens and this happens. The other person may be experiencing it but just brushing it off. That's just what you're open to.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, well, Bill's just put this up, and I have actually done this before. Can you be dreaming, wake up, and then go back to the dream where you left off?
Yep.
I have.
It's like watching a film.
Yeah.
It's like watching a film and going back and
sometimes
watching the rest of it.
If you're having a great dream, have you ever done this? You're having a good dream. It's a good dream. You're enjoying it. You wake up, you're like, oh man, I want to know.
It's better than life.
And then you go back and you try so hard to get back, and sometimes you can. It's weird.
I think
my husband will wake me up, and I'll be like, no, I want to finish my dream. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I think it's far and few between, but I think it does happen when your subconscious is at a deeper state of of mind, and you can get back to where you left off. But I don't think it happens a lot, because I think once you wake up and you're in a conscious state, you lose that connection, whatever that is. So
Yeah.
Have you ever been having a bad dream, woken up and like think, oh man, oh, thank God that was a dream, and then you go back to sleep and you're back? Have you ever done that? I've done that.
I haven't had that one.
That's horrible.
No,
that's not good.
Have you guys had lucid dreams where you know that you're dreaming and can control your dreams?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
I've
like
had that.
the one
Yeah.
this morning was like that.
Yeah.
Some
Those
dreams some dreams feel like really real to me. Like I wake up and I feel like I've been somewhere for weeks in a dream. It's really weird and it feels so real.
And I think some of the times when you wake up from a dream and you dreaming you were doing this or you're doing that, and you wake up and you're exhausted, I think you actually were out of body doing what you thought you was a dream. You know what I mean? I truly believe that. Yeah.
So I did an experiment. It was a while ago. I think it was off work, so I was laying in bed, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. So I kept looking at the time, and I knew each time I fell asleep, I'd go into a dream. And say it was 10:10. Yeah, that was the last time I looked at the clock. I knew I'd go straight to sleep. I'd start dreaming, and what happened in this dream? Maybe it felt like it took like half an hour. I woke up, and there's only like 2-3 minutes have passed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I did that a few times. I just seemed to get control of what I was doing. And it's like, this is mad. This is really just, I don't know how or why it's happening, but there's something going on. So I've done that. But I've also, when Preston Dennett came on a while ago, he was showing us how to, what he considers the best way to start doing astral projection and lucid dreaming. So I've been trying to do it. I've got the Bluetooth mask and what have you, with the earbuds in it. So I listen to the isochronic tones and what have you. I remember I fell asleep, and just before I woke up, I was stood at this big grey building. It was covered in moss. It had like holes in it where windows would have been, but there's no glass or anything there. There's like 3 or 4 other people with me, but I could smell the fresh air. I could feel the wind, everything. I could touch and feel that. And I woke up, I'm like, no, I've not got away. I want to go back. And it was just, as soon as I woke up, it was like, and it felt like I'd been dragged back, pulled away from wherever it was that I was. And that's the only time that I recall feeling that. That was only, say, 3 months ago.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I mean, I've had the opposite with dreams where I fall asleep for a minute and I look at the clock, I wake up, I look at the clock, I wake up, and this goes on for hours, right? And then 1 minute I look at the clock, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I wake up thinking I've only been asleep for like a minute, and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, holy crap, it's been like 5 hours, you know what I mean? I was like, but it feels like it's only been a minute or two, and that's what I haven't experienced the other way around that you have, but that's what I've experienced.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I've had that as well, where it's like, it's more like the days that I've got to get up early for work. So I fall asleep, it's like, it can't be time yet. I've only had like 2-3 minutes sleep. And same as you. You look at the clock, it's like 5-6 hours have gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I have talked to people that have been in a dream, seen a family member, and that family member had the same dream that night, and they've talked about it the next day, saying we saw each other in our dreams.
Wow.
I find that pretty mad, man.
That's amazing stuff. Absolutely. Yeah.
That probably happens more often than people realize too, because what are you going to say? Like, oh, I had a weird dream about you last night. Like, that was sounding like a crazy person.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually need to speak to Earl Grey about a dream I had and see if he dreamt it was weird. I'd met him. We was in we'd gone on some dinner thing. There's loads of other people in that there, and I met Earl Grey, but it felt like it was him. It was like how because in the dream he was like 6'2", 6'4". I don't know how tall he actually is. He might have told me, but consciously I don't remember. And we was in Hollywood, but that's because I know he used to live there. And we was on the Walk of Fame. We was around the area and what have you. But it's like I was stood there chatting and shook his hand, give him a hug and what have you, and it just felt really real. And I meant to message him to see if he dreamt about me. But it's like, how do you ask someone that?
Yeah, that
dream
may
about
be
me.
an awkward conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah. You hope he has. You hope he has.
Please be dreaming about me.
You can't say it without sounding like a weirdo.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
You're right though. People are not going to.
So I've done it on air, and it's
That's it now. It's
probably
out
more creepy than anything now.
there. Worst place to do it. I have dreams because I was close to both my granddads, and they're both passed now. But I have dreams quite often of they're in my dream, and I know that they've passed in my dream, and I'm always like super happy to see them and hug them. I can smell them and feel them. It's like it feels so real. And I told someone about, I can't remember who I was talking to about it, and they were like, well, perhaps they're actually like visiting you in your dream. Like perhaps that is real, and that's a nice one. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that, but that's a nice one. Because that happens quite a lot. I have that, and I wake up and I feel like I've just been with my granddad. It's just really weird.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that's actually happening. You know what I mean? They're coming to visit you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, and Nick will vouch for this because I remember when she first started, she was like a greenhorn and stuff. The longer you're in this field, the more sensitive you get to different energies, and different energies will affect you different ways, and you will know what you're dealing with when you're out in an investigation. Am I right or wrong, Nick?
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you get to learn like what these things mean rather than dismissing them.
Right.
Yeah.
You tune into it a little more.
Yeah, because you'll know, like if you get a pressure in your head, it means you're dealing with this, because every time you get a pressure in your head, you deal with a certain kind of energy and entity or whatever, and I think we just all become more and more sensitive to energies the longer we're in the field and the more we're investigating, and these ladies, they jump in with both feet, you know what I mean? And they go everywhere and they do everything. What happened up at the Conjuring House?
We didn't go. We went to Hinsdale.
Oh, you went to Hinsdale.
I went to Hinsdale with some members of Team Parasite. Okay. Lisa was supposed to go, but something told her not to go. She listened to her intuition, and she just wasn't comfortable, so she didn't end up going. But we didn't get anything negative, but we weren't looking for anything negative.
Right. Because I was going to go to the Hinsdale house once, and my psychic said, don't go. She said, because it's not, the house has got dark energy attached to it, but it's because of the land, because my psychic is Native American, and she said there was a lot of Native American blood spilt on that land. So she said, don't go. So I never went. So I was curious when I heard that you were going. I was like, what happened? I want to know.
It was so nice, actually. Like, we got a lot of activity, but the things that we were getting literally said to us, like, less darkness, more pizza. They wanted pizza.
Oh, shit. Yeah. That's crazy.
We went and had pizza, and the K2s were going crazy every time we said the word pizza.
Wow, that's crazy.
We tested this with other words. We tested this with everything. But we think it was like family spirits or, spirits in the house, not really anything dark. But we kept talking about the darkness.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Next time they go, they need to take pizza, see what happens.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We had pizza, and that's why we were talking about pizza. And we just noticed that every time we said it.
Did you happen to notice the phases of the moon that night you went?
I want to say it was pretty full, but not all the way full.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Awesome stuff.
We did go out to the tree and leave an offering, for the spirits there.
Okay.
And nothing crazy. I mean, we heard something that sounded like not drum beats, but maybe like a heartbeat. If you had your heart pounding in your ear out in the woods, and we were just standing quietly listening. But nothing negative or oppressive or anything like that.
That's good. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think you get what you're looking for.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess that would make sense, right? If you're looking for something dark and negative, that's you're gonna attract something dark and negative. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Andy, did you mention to them about the old lady that changed into a guy or vice versa?
No.
You never told you the story?
I thought we weren't getting political.
You got to
no,
tell them.
it's not transitioning. This is real.
No, not transition. Yeah, you got to tell them this experience is mine.
I'm sure I told you, Tommy.
I can't remember.
This is pretty much the latest weirdest thing that's ever happened. So I was, as you know, I drive for a living, and I was in a place called Leicester, which is like central England. So doing this drop, and as I'm coming, it's not a housing estate, it's just like residential area. As I'm coming around this bend, there's like temporary traffic lights up, and this is how it all started. Straight away from this point, everything went weird. Right, so this is 10:10 in the morning. I know because I took a photograph of the time and everything and where I was, and like for future reference. So it's about 10:10, and these temporary lights, it's only like 10-15 foot of where they was doing work, where they put the barriers up, but there's no work going on. There's no workmen there, nothing. So as I approached, the lights went on green, pulled round. So as I got round, as I'm coming round, the road like bent round to the right and then started coming round to the left, and there's another bend going back round to the right. So I was parking up as it dips in the middle bend. So as I'm pulling up there, I noticed there's a bloke with a dog waiting to cross the road. He had what I recall, I don't know if it was, but he had like a denim jacket on and dark denim jeans, right? And what made me recognize him more than anything else is he looks like a guy who I used to work with called Dave, right? How this person looked then is how Dave looked back in the 90s, right? So I thought, oh, looks like Dave. So I'm parking up, checking him at the right house, seeing what I needed to take in. And I look again, and they're on the other side of the road, but he is now a woman with black trousers on and a different jacket.
But the same dog. The same dog.
With the same dog. So it's like a little white, like a Scotty dog, but it's weird. It's like a brilliant white, like painted, like paint and leather white, that sort of thing. It wasn't on this. This is the most ridiculous part of it. So he's crossing the road, but then all the traffic seems to stop. There's nothing coming the other way. There's no one walking about. And I'm parked up. So as I'm like filling the paperwork out and getting out of the van, I keep looking up to see what this person's doing. And they're just stood like at the side, like these gardens are about 10 foot from the front door to the path, right? And they're stood near this tree about 3-4 doors down at this wall, and they're just like staring at me, not blink. And I'm like, right, this is creepy. And I got to the point where it's like, right, if you don't, I'm gonna have to shout something like, "What you doing? Why are you being all weird and what have you?" Or words to that effect. And then I thought, I'm just gonna get on with it. They'll go in a minute. But this dog was like, I use the term, it was doing dog things. It was on a red lead, yeah. But it was just running about and running like to the wall and wasn't doing a wee or anything like that. Just kind of like moving about on its own, like there was nobody else with it. Right? Even though they had hold of the lead. So this is one of the main things that stuck out was when the guy crossed the road, he had this white dog, and the dog was in his right hand, so it was on my side. But by the time he got onto the other side of the road, he was then a woman. And it looked like, you've seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
His mum, Jill, when she gets bitten, she looked a bit like that. So I get out the van, look up, she's still there. Go around, get the stuff out of the van, come back around the front of the van, look up, still there. Still staring. This dog's just doing doggy things, right? So I go up the path, knock on the door. Woman comes, do what I do. She signs for it. And as she's doing, I keep looking to my left, and the woman's still there, right? Walk down the path. So she's on my right because I've done a 180. Walking down back to the van, look right, still there. Like, right, but she weren't as much staring then. She was just kind of like lingering. So then I get back in the van, put in the sat nav when I'm going to my next job. So put it back in the order, look up, gone. Like, what the hell? I actually said it out loud. Like, where? Don't be standing there all this time trying to stare me out. And then I put a 6-digit code into the phone and then look up and you're gone. So I'm like bending forward to look in the mirror to see if she's gone down the side of the van. Even though there's a couple of bends, there's quite wide bends. So it wasn't like gone round a 90-degree corner or anything like that. And I would have seen her walking past. So I got in the van, some parts on the opposite side of the road, pull out, still no traffic, nothing, no one about, driving down, and there's like little pathways down the side of the houses. So you got a couple of semi-detached, then you've got the quads where you got 4, and then another, and then you've got garages built onto the side of the houses in between. Driving, and I'm looking up every path, every doorway, nothing, no one about, nowhere, no one behind me, no. And on the opposite side of the road, there's a bit of trees. And there's a massive open field with just a green metal fence about 3-4 foot high. And would have seen them in there. No one about.
Weird, man.
Wow.
But didn't see him change from man to a woman.
How crazy is that? I've never experienced anything like that.
Weird.
That sounds a little skinwalkery.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was looking at you like, that's weird, man.
But the dog was real, or it looked real, but it looked too clean to be a dog. Do you know, like when you buy something brand new and you open it and you're peeling the plastic off and it's shiny and you don't want to get fingerprints on it or anything? This is what this dog looked like.
Interesting.
Space-time continuum.
There's no it'd been raining. The ground was wet, so you'd have thought there'd been a bit of muck at the bottom of the dog's
white dog
feet.
as well. They get dirty easily.
Nothing at all.
What was the dog an angel? I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just crazy. It's just the fact that the dude turned into a woman. You know,
and then
that's crazy.
Yeah. Never mind the dog being so white that it looked, like unbelievably. Yeah, but it's the same dog with 2 different people. Yeah. And then,
but this was the thing. This was the thing. If I hadn't seen the dog, I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. I'd have just thought, block across the road, and then there's a woman walking up the other way. Yes. I've been doing what I'm doing, but because it was a dog, the same dog, and there's nobody else about, that made me question it. Because other than that, it would have made perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just so crazy.
And they were just staring at you as well.
There was like,
so weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
I was ready to like sticking my head out the window, opening the door, saying, "What's your problem? What's wrong?"
Listen, it might be a viewer. It might be a viewer. It might be like, "Is that Andy Decodes?" I'm sure that's Andy Decodes. That's right. That's all it was.
That means she wanted to ask you for an autograph.
Yeah. Exactly.
Didn't get one. But then they gone.
That is so strange.
And
man.
then they gone.
Yeah.
And I checked down. So I'm driving past. Like I said, there's nothing on the road, so I'm only like doing like 5 miles an hour, if that. Stayed in first gear. I'm just looking. Obviously, looked at the field. There's like nowhere to be seen, so I'm looking between the houses.
Sure.
Even if they'd walked up their path, because it took a while to cross the road. Even if they'd walked up the path, and even if they had the keys in the hand, I still would have seen them going in through the door. No way would they have moved that quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. There's definitely not. Yeah.
And it was like down the side that, like I said, between the houses where the gaps and you've got like entrance to the back garden or the garage, that was like 30, 40 foot length. So
Yeah.
still take you 10, 20, 30 seconds to walk it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially with a little dog like that. They don't walk fast. Yeah.
No.
Weird,
Oh,
man.
they still have to sniff everything and
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, that's what the dog was doing. It's running around, sniffing, and just like it wasn't being held by anyone. Like
Now,
it was just
let
doing
me,
its own thing.
did the person have the same clothes on as a woman as it did as a man?
No. So I've had to redo this over and over to make sure I get it right because I don't want to give the wrong information. Now,
Okay.
initially I thought that they was wearing the same clothes, but it just seems very similar. So the guy had a denim jacket on,
Okay.
and and just the way he looked, that's why I know I keep going back to this, but this is why he looked like me mate Dave.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it was like the proper, I've not even got any, like not the faded denim and not the
Okay.
dark denim, just your normal Levi denim.
Okay.
It was that, with the button up and the collar, and he had darker either trousers or jeans on. But when the woman was on the other side of the road, her jacket was longer.
Oh wow!
I
Like an
can't
overcoat.
remember the colour. I could give you any colour, I'd be guessing.
Okay.
Red, grey. I know it wasn't black or white. It was like a pigment colour sort of thing. But she had darker trousers. These trousers were more black.
Now I got a question for you. When you seen the dog with the man, he was on a red lead. Was the lead still red when it was with the woman?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Because that was another bit that made it stand out.
Yeah.
And was that red lead like a bright red or a dark red?
It's fire engine red.
Fire engine red. Man, that's just crazy. Yeah.
I know. Because it was that the red and white and the skinwalker that was walking it.
Skinwalker was just a ghost.
I had a weird experience recently that was sort of similar.
Yeah.
So I finished work at 1 o'clock in the morning UK time, and I literally work 30 seconds from where I live. I can just walk home. I just have to cross the road and I'm home pretty much. And I do this walk obviously every night, and there's never anyone about. Like, it's very rare to see people. One night I was walking home, and a lady just walked past me, and I didn't think much of it. It was just a lady walking past me, and she walked to the bus stop, and then for a second I couldn't see her because I'm walking. I'm just walking around the bus stop, and you can't see inside the bus stop.
Yeah.
And I looked, just expecting to see a lady there, and there's no buses at this time either. I'm pretty sure the last bus is like 11 or 12 o'clock.
Right.
And all that was there, I promise you, was a fox, and it walked across, turned around and looked at me, and then like ran off.
and walkers.
Yeah, this lady was nowhere to be seen, and I was like, "What?" And I was about to do an interview when I got in, so I was like, sort of thinking about that, and I was just like, "That was weird, man." Yeah.
There is a cryptid. I can't remember what it's called. It's to do with the Japanese, and they change into foxes. This is going to sound really stupid. Did you notice how many tails this fox had? Because apparently these have two tails.
It just had the one tail.
At least two tails.
Really? It just seemed like a normal fox, but it was just weird that this lady disappeared, and that there was a fox in the bus stop. I mean, that's weird as well.
Weird. That's weird.
And it turned and looked at me, this fox, and then just ran off. And I was like, "But where's the lady gone?" Like there was no way she could have. There's nowhere she could have gone. Like really.
Now,
like,
did you get a good look at her when she walked past you? Like, did she look like a normal person, or did she have her head down? Or?
I didn't think anything weird of. I thought it was strange that I've seen, because honestly, you don't see people. Like, I hardly ever see, you don't see cars or anything. It's very quiet around there.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought, there's a lady going to the bus stop. I thought that was a bit strange. So I've sort of looked in the bus stop. I've obviously looked away for a second, looked back, but there's nowhere she could have gone. Like, unless she just is the Flash and just ran off super quick.
Yeah.
There's nowhere she could have gone. And it just baffled me. And I was like, what? But then there was this fox there, and that sort of turned and foxes they run when they see people around here, so they don't want to be around people. But it's really weird, man. Really strange.
That's
And it just I was doing an interview as soon as I got in, so I sort of put it to the back of my mind. I was like, oh, I'll think about that later. I don't know what that was. It was weird, man.
Wow. Sorry, one sec. I've just got to stick my phone on charge. There we go. Oh, we've got about 6 minutes left.
Okay.
It's only because I've got to get ready to go on this wonderful party.
Okay.
That's why I said I need to swap with Al what he's doing tonight for what I'm doing.
No, there won't be any swapping tonight. Yeah.
Worth a try.
It's funny that the guy I'm going with tonight is the same guy who gave me the tickets back in 2000 to go see him at Jones Beach, and we were front row center. You know what I mean? It was
so
amazing. Awesome. Yeah. So, but tonight we'll be up in the luxury boxes, so that's cool too.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's going to be awesome. It's like a once in a lifetime experience.
It's the last show at Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? I mean, if I could afford the price of a ticket, I would have bought one myself. But the tickets are like insane, you know. So when this dude calls me up and says, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Why?" Because I got an extra seat if you're interested. He knows I'm interested, you know. Yeah. I could be on my deathbed. I'm interested. Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
So Joe put in the chat that fox person thing is called the kitsune.
Kisumi.
Okay.
Kitsune. Yeah, that what he said. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I'm not big on Japanese ghost or stuff like that. So it's something I've never really studied before, so I wouldn't know.
But I know they're supposed to have different amounts of different numbers of tails, and the amount of tails that they have is something to do with their stature. I can't remember the full things of it without looking back.
Kitsune have the ability to shapeshift into human or other forms and to trick and fool human beings. Their abilities increase as they get older and wiser.
Interesting.
Ah.
There goes Nick, right on top of everything.
Wikipedia.
Got another tab open.
She's the best. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's what it was. I saw this lady walk into the bus stop and I saw the fox run out. So this is what it was. So I thought, that fox was in the bus stop and got scared and run out.
Of course.
So the fox turned and looked at me and ran off. So as I've got round to where I can see into the bus stop, I was expecting to see a lady there.
Of course.
Because I thought that's what scared the fox, and there was no one there.
Now, I got a question for you. How often do you see foxes on your street when you walk home to work?
Not very often. I have seen them, funny enough. So this was about 3 months ago, something like that. Something like that. Might have been 2 months. I can't remember. But I have seen a fox a couple of times since then.
Okay.
So you do see foxes around here. You get foxes outside that make some really weird noises.
Weird noises. I had one last night going off in my backyard. It was just making the weirdest noise in the world. Yeah.
But when they see people, they run. They're not like in London. Sometimes they call them the urban foxes because they're getting a little bit braver. But around here, still they just run when they see you. Around
here, they come and my wife feeds them. So.
Oh really?
We got babies.
Yes, we got all kinds of. We could be sitting at the fire pit with a roaring fire, and they come down, and my wife's giving them bologna and hot dogs. I said, "You're going to give them all high cholesterol." You know?
That's why they're coming back, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But they make weird noises. Oh my God.
They do.
They can make some crazy, funky noises. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know people have moved up from the city and then they hear the foxes and they're like, it sounded like a woman was getting murdered in the woods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a fox.
Yeah. They scream. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Foxes and squirrels are the two noisiest animals around where I live.
Okay.
Squirrels?
Squirrels.
I never hear any squirrels. No.
I've never heard a squirrel. I see squirrels, but I've never heard them.
No, they chirp. They do chirp. Yeah.
And it's not even a nice chirp. It's just so annoying. And it's constant. And it goes on for hours and hours and hours.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's when you get the BB gun out and you shoot them off the branch.
I warned you.
That's when you call the cat people up and have them hunt the squirrels.
Nah, you just get a cat. The cat will run them off.
Yeah.
I wish. No, we've got loads of trees out the back,
Yeah.
and you can hear the where they nest is level with the bedroom.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's like, seriously, I'm just gonna get a chainsaw. Just
No.
Oh. Then you're gonna have a whole litter of like orphan squirrels to take care of.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll send him to Jo. She likes animals. Not that I don't. Didn't say I don't like animals. She likes looking after wild ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how many of you have seen a black squirrel?
Oh yeah, there's a million
Yeah.
black squirrels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Black squirrels, red squirrels.
Gray
I've seen
squirrels.
I've seen one red one. That was years ago. Just outside Liverpool, a place called Farnby. And then I've seen in the last couple of years about 5 or 6 black squirrels. Obviously millions of grey ones.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that they were black.
Yeah, they're red
It
too
was-
as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it was on a RAF base that it was delivering to.
Uh-oh.
So I thought, oh, that's rare. And then
Yeah.
I had a look and like, no, it's not. You've just not seen any.
You just haven't seen any.
Yeah. So
Well,
right,
we got a pride of cats out in the backyard that they keep the squirrels. Squirrels don't come around. It's too dangerous for them, you know. They'll let the foxes come in. Sometimes they'll even chase the foxes away, the cats.
oh wow,
But they're kind of the foxes and the cats kind of got used to one another. But the squirrels, the squirrels have no shot around here. Too many cats.
yeah. Right, we are at the end.
Okay. Well, thank you for
Unfortunately.
having me. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you for coming on
Congratulations,
and-
Tommy and
Thank you, Al.
Nicole. And thank you, Andy, for inviting me. And it was a fabulous show. Absolutely.
Yes, and definitely get you to come on again sometime soon.
Yeah, I love talking to Al.
At some point, you know, like I said, I'll be going to the Christmas party with Nick. So, you know, we're going to be doing some ghost stuff there. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
And, you know, see what happens.
Yeah, excellent. Right, thank you all for coming on and doing a Saturday morning, afternoon. So it's been amazing as always. I'm glad you've all enjoyed it as well.
And a big shout out and thank you to Al for bringing everybody together and the
Yeah.
introductions.
Thank you.
brother.
Really appreciate it.
It's what friends do, you know. So, yeah.
It's amazing, is what it is. That's what it is.
Well,
Kismet.
Right. So I'm gonna end this, and then I'm gonna have to shoot off pretty much straight away.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Nicole, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yep.
Are you doing the full show?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Wednesday
Yes.
I can.
Yeah, you got it all done. And Tommy on Friday, and then if you want to do Friday as well. Yeah, we'll sort it out anyway on the chat. Right, guys. Al and Tommy, you're going out and having fun.
Yeah,
As
I've
well
got
as me.
Rock,
Nicole,
Christmas.
enjoy
rock
whatever
and-
you're
rock
going to
and
be
roll.
doing.
Mine's not as
Putting
fun
up
as yours.
Christmas
Al.
lights.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. We're all going out doing something. Excellent.
Yep.
Right. Everyone in the chat, thank you for tuning in. Everyone listening back on the podcast, hope you've enjoyed this one. And we'll see you back on Wednesday with the Dream Woman. Take care. See you then. Bye-bye.
Ciao.